Right guys, so today we're going to be looking at the SAM module in the smart car. So basically this car has a strange issue where you'll be driving along and without any warning the engine just cuts out.
Oh, focus. Yeah.
It shows a single line in the gear indicator and just flashes. This indicates a CAN bus communication fault. So basically with these cars, a SAM module is a common failure on them. It will pretty much happen to every single smart car, every W450 and Roadster, because it was just one of them things. Unfortunately, as time goes on, moisture gets into electronics and that can cause these strange issues that occur. With this car, I feel like there is more than just the SAM module posing an issue. I think the either the clutch actuator or the gear actuator is going out on it as well, because occasionally it misshifts and that doesn't seem to be linked to the SAM module. Right, so we're going to go inside the car, of which I could have probably hoovered first, to be fair, and go up inside the passenger footwell. So this is the SAM module here, and you're probably wondering why the heck there is a lot of cable ties holding this up. Well, there's supposed to be a bar that runs across the back there, and then this clip flap thing that it's supposed to be able to pivot on. Now obviously this car has had an issue before, and looking at the numbering on this SAM, that indicates that this probably isn't even an original unit. It's probably from another car, and that's the year that the car was from. So this has probably been recoded to the car. This itself can cause issues sometimes if it's not done properly, but I believe this has probably been done properly and it's been working fine, but it's likely that there's water damage inside this unit. So previously someone's messed about with it, they've not put the metal bar back, and this could ultimately be the actual reason why this car was sold beforehand anyway. It's not uncommon for people to be trying to find these faults and really struggle, but the thing is, when this car does this strange fault, you can literally just tap this and the car comes straight back to life. So that to me indicates that either something is loose, which hanging like that, there's not really any surprise, or there's a poor connection somewhere, which I'm going to take this out and then we're going to take it over to Ben's, and he's going to open it up and go through it for me and make sure that there's no dry joints, no corrosion causing issues, and basically that it's spot on and as it should be. And if it still poses a fault, then it needs a new one. Now unfortunately you can't get new ones anymore, which makes it a bit interesting. So let's get it out. We're going to pull back this and pull back the carpet. Then in here we've got the emergency pack, so there'd normally be a compressor and some tyre goo. You've got a little screwdriver and a towing eye. Towing eye is a very useful thing with these cars, you'll need it most days. So let's set that to one side, and then what we need to do is disconnect the battery. I'm going to disconnect the negative first, then disconnect the positive, and then we're going to leave it to sit for about 10 minutes just to make sure the capacitors can discharge, and that in the SAM module itself. Right, so to do that, simply 10mm spanner on the nut. I'm going to have to twist that terminal around, but 10mm spanner on the nut and it'll come straight off. Now this battery clamp you can see is touching that. Fortunately this is an earth, but again this doesn't fit properly. There's so many issues with this car, it's absolutely unbelievable. I knew about one, which was a suspension knock, and that's the reason the car was marked down. The dealer was honest with that. But as far as cars go, there's been that many faults with this. It should have never have been sold. It wasn't safe, but hey ho, I'm a mechanic. I'm not afraid of fixing stuff. So I'm going to whip this battery off and then leave it to sit for 10 minutes. I'm going to cut these cable ties off. Table ties, yeah, good one. I'm going to cut these cable ties off and lower the SAM down while it's all discharging. And yeah, we'll go from there. Right, so that's the battery disconnected now. Always disconnect the negative first, then the positive, so if your spanner touches the chassis, you don't short it out. I've placed a bit of cardboard there just because the wire naturally wants to spring back. So you've got an earth point there. This is always worth checking when you're having strange issues. And then an earth point up there, and then you've also got 2 more earths in the engine bay. One of them is like a bare cable, so it's really common for that one to corrode and cause problems, and the other attaches to the gearbox itself. That one I am going to replace at some point. In fact, the likelihood is I'm probably going to run a ground cable from the battery from there right to the back of the car. Well, right to the back of the car is there. So yeah, nice and easy. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to go with one problem at a time, and we'll get on with this. Right, so I've cut the SAM module down now so it can hang freely. This little grommet there is where the end of the bar is supposed to slot into. Now, I only haven't replaced it yet because I can't find one, unfortunately. And then we've got the broken tabs on here and off this plastic hinge, which is not convenient. This car has had a hard life, so I can't really say it's the car's fault all these problems are. A lot of this has been caused by owners just not taking care of it and poor maintenance. So I am noticing some chafing on that 50 amp fuse. It is possible that it could literally be corrosion on contacts, but the likelihood that it is something internally is quite high. So I'm going to go through disconnecting it. There's one positive nut there that I need to undo. The rest should just unclip, I believe, and it'll drop out, and then I can take that to Ben for him to solder it. Right, so this is all unplugged. I'm just about to undo that 10mm bolt there. So the only plugs that some of you may not know how to undo are these type plugs. So basically I have a little locking tab which has been broken off of this one. They have a little locking tab that you push down, and then you turn the cam that way and it pushes itself out. This one still has its locking tab on just there. If you can see it, just there. You push that down and then it allows this lever to turn back and pull itself out. So this is a really easy job. This is like a 5-minute job to pull this out. The actual repair of it, not so easy. If you do not know what you're doing with electrics, do not attempt to play with this. Instead, there are people that will repair these units for you, so you don't have to go for a replacement and a recode, because reality, unless this is really bad, most of them can be repaired, and because there's not really an option for brand new replacements, you're likely going to end up with the same issues. So it's a bit of a false economy to replace it with a used unit. You may as well have this unit repaired. Right, so I've got the SAM module back. Now, I was supposed to tell Ben to get some videos or photos of this internally, but to be honest, it's been such a rush about that I forgot to tell him. So basically there was dry joints within this. So there was dry joints on here, here, here. Not sure about this one. So he's reflowed them, reflowed the solder joints on the relays because they were not looking great. So basically dry joints are very typical on any sort of Mercedes electronics at this period of time. Just it's water gets in over time and just causes it to break up the PCBs and that, and just corrode the solder. Simple things like that, but it causes an electronic nightmare. Anyway, we're going to get this back in and check that it still works. So to refit it again, all I'm going to do is connect this first, the positive terminal, and then clip in these two first at the back, and then one by one just clip them all in, and then rest it there and just check that everything within the SAM works, because there's every chance that I could still plug this in and nothing happens and the car be totaled. So this is only something to do if you're extremely competent with electronics, because it's very easy to accidentally solder two joints together, and that will just about fry everything. Right, so moment of truth, let's see if the car still works. So far so good. It all looks okay. Yeah, so see whether it drives okay. Alright, well, obviously there was some clips missing there. My phone decided that it didn't want to life anymore and deleted some of the clips, which is not ideal. But it's a pretty straightforward thing. I've put pictures in to try and illustrate what the issue was, which was dry joints, and it seems as simple as that. Reflow with solder and we're good to go again. When will it ever end? The joys of owning a smart car, very much like looking after a mogwai. Don't feed it after midnight, don't get it wet, and I forget what the other one is, and that's why I end up with all these problems. Anyway, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.